Well, hello, and thank you for joining us again today. We serve a good God. He's a God who really does want you to prosper. When the children of Israel were in Egypt, they were in bondage to Pharaoh and the Egyptians. They lived in the land of not enough. God still provided for them, and on the night of the Passover, they went out with silver, with gold and clothing. In fact, they plundered the Egyptians. Their release from slavery was accompanied with great blessing. As they wandered in the wilderness for 40 years, God continued to provide for them, and they lived in the land of just enough. Bread literally fell from heaven. God gave them quail, meat to eat, and provided water from rock, while their clothes lasted and their sandals never wore out. Joshua finally led them into the promised land of more than enough. A land of milk and honey where the grapes needed 2 men to carry them. A land where they would lack nothing. A land where houses and wells were already built and where vineyards and trees would not have to be planted. Let me tell you, God wants to do the same for us today. He wants to bring us out of poverty, the land of not enough, beyond the place of just enough and into His promises of more than enough blessing. God desires not just to meet your needs, but to give us more than enough, to bless us abundantly, that we might be a blessing to others. So how do we grow in our faith? We need to focus on the Lord and not on our problems. Our faith must be focused on God alone. We need to stop telling God how big our mountain is and start speaking to the mountain and telling it how big our God is. We need to focus on God, on His nature and attributes instead of our problems and obstacles. The bigger God becomes in our eyes, the smaller our predicaments become. As Wendell Smith said, if we keep our eyes on Him, faith will grow in our hearts. If we focus on our enemies or our problems, unbelief will dominate. We all need to overcome small thinking when it comes to God. We tend to focus on the problem instead of the maker of all creation. We focus on the created thing rather than on the creator. We focus on the temporal resistance rather than the eternal conqueror. We must learn to walk by faith and not by sight, and to put our trust in God's words and not in our circumstances or what we see around us. If we keep our eyes on Jesus and run our race with endurance, we will inherit the prize that He has planned for us. Thank you.